Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime. It's your girl
Ruka.
And Big Boy Sam here, bringing you another episode of Hot or Not.
Today, Odd Taxi is in the hot seat, so let's judge.
You know what it is, let's get right into it.
Creativity. So, I mean, it's not that much of a creative concept. It is a simple murder mystery or a missing person mystery. I'm guessing that the person is deceased because at the very beginning we saw a bundled item with weights on it sinking to the bottom of the ocean, so I feel like we can deduce that this person is no longer with us. In the opening, the animation style is extremely simple, but I actually really enjoyed that. I thought that it was quite cool and it made me think of the monotony of normal everyday life, and I think that that is what it's trying to communicate to us, so I thought they did a good job there.
Well, for me, in terms of creativity, I like the fact that they used animals as opposed to people. Yeah, people do exist in this world. We did hear that in the radio when they were talking about it, but we haven't seen any, and these animals have been anthropomorphized in order to make sure that, you know, they're giving human qualities, which is great. The monotony in the beginning opening sequence, yeah, I got that feeling as well, but I don't know if that lent to creativity for me, but yeah, it's got some good points.
Entertainment. So what I noticed while watching this episode is that the scenes are extremely quiet. There is hardly any music going on in the background. There is music at certain points, such as when music is played on the radio or in certain areas of the scenes, but for the most part they're kept very quiet. I quite enjoyed it actually. It gives a really slow pacing to the show as a whole, which could be seen as a positive or a negative, I think, depending on who you're talking to, but for me, I liked it. It makes me think that it's not a bingeable anime, just based off of this first episode and the way that it is so slow. It does seem like it's something that you should watch bit by bit. I did also like the building of the idea of corruption. They introduced it in small ways. Just for instance, we had the police officers come to Odokawa's taxi and ask him if he had seen a particular person. Later on we realized that this was Dobu that they were talking about, and Odokawa immediately said, well, isn't that your friend? And the police officer immediately told the other police officer, don't trust him, he is just a taxi driver. So we already started to think that there was corruption. Also, there's dry humor throughout the entire episode, which I like because that's actually kind of similar to my type of humor as well. It's very sarcastic, very quite dry.
I do see similarities between you and Odokawa as well. Not in terms of looks, obviously. I mean, like, you look a lot better than he does.
My God.
Maybe slightly, but joking, I'm joking. Much love, much love. But in terms of entertainment, yeah, I actually wanted to see the next episode. How they did that was actually quite funny. Like Ruka said, they limited the music and made it very intentional. So you were forced to stick to the story. And the story, yes, we've heard it all before. It's actually quite interesting this way. The little snippets of little strands that branch off that we weren't expecting. For example, the alpaca. She was the one working in the chemist today and 6,000 pills went missing. Didn't expect that. Kind of thought a little shippy thing was going on. Maybe that might be explored. There's little things. The fact that his friends are talking about him and can't believe the stories. The fact that the corruption is there, but he's so above it all. He's got that whole, I'm above everything and nothing bothers me, that whole nihilistic look in life, and I really like that.
Character development. So we have Odokawa, who is very blunt and he seems quite disdainful, just openly disdainful of a lot of things, it seems. And he also kind of seems fed up with life as well, which makes him a really good scapegoat. And I think that that's what we've been seeing here. And also, Odokawa is made likable because of the people that are surrounding him. So we had Dr. Gariki, and although we only saw him slightly, we only saw him a little bit, we saw how he spoke to Odokawa as if they were friends, and also saying, you know, like, oh, are you gonna get married? And then the moment we see him again, he's talking to other people and saying, oh, don't you think Odokawa is a bit weird? Don't you think you guys should tell him to go seek treatment elsewhere? Did you know that he was linked to the missing person, Nerima? Very, very two-faced behavior, and we had the same thing from the alpaca. You mentioned her as well, that she seemed really sweet and kind when we saw her with Odokawa, but then when we saw her again in the back of the taxi, you got a very different feel in the scene. And also, it is possible that she has been stealing medicines. For what reason, we don't know, but she's stealing a hell of a lot of medication. 6,000 pills. For what could you need 6,000 pills?
To make some money.
Either you're selling them or you're taking them.
Can't take 6,000, bro.
Then we've got Dobu, who is spoken about as a dangerous guy, and we can see that he is in cahoots with that police officer, Daimon. Daimon obviously tricked Odokawa into letting him into his car, took the footage of the girl being in his car and gave it to Dobu. But I do think that there is this thing in this show where a person might seem one way but they might not actually be that way. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he's characterized as a dangerous guy, but when we actually heard them discuss what happened, it was that the people were, it was a gang making trouble, and they also had martial arts abilities as well, and he beat them up. Now in Japan, I mean, I don't want to generalize, but I do know that in Japan, if you are doing anything such as a fight, regardless of who's sort of in the wrong, everyone's in the wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. You're disrupting life as you know it, and you're all guilty, you're all criminals, and they don't tend to like people who are going to attack another person regardless of what the reason was. So I feel like this could be another thing here where maybe Dobu isn't even the bad person. Maybe he isn't in the wrong. He is tailing Odokawa, but Odokawa has picked up this girl in his taxi, and he has been speaking to someone. We saw him speaking to someone saying they could run away freely if they wanted to. So I don't know. I think there's a huge amount in character development just from this one episode.
I have to agree with you on that one. Like, look, the framing mechanism that they used in order to create the story was that of a standard murder mystery, sort of mystery solving genre, which was great. Utilizing that, they allowed a lot of people to get their opinions in while using Odokawa as the nucleus of the whole group. So yeah, when we're talking about Dobu and how, in my opinion, I've not heard anything that he's done wrong. The only thing I've seen is that he had a gun. I don't know what the gun laws there are. He could be okay to have that gun. He could be licensed. Who knows? But, you know, it is Tokyo, but it's an alternate universe, clearly. Also, we've got other things that are going on, i.e. the alpaca. She seems so nice and sweet. She even gifted a toy to, well, a rubber to Odokawa. However, her doing that, saying that it was a limited edition single item, no one else has it, maybe that was a lie just to get him to be endeared to her so that, you know, he can become more pliable and actually receive the treatment. Treatment's not working, he's not sleeping well. And yeah, he's a bit odd. He gives me sort of, and I'm not a psychologist, but I could be wrong here, but it gives me some sort of like emotional disorder where you dissociate slightly. But I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But either way, I've not seen anything bad. Yeah, he's got someone in his house, but as you can see, it's not locked. That person can leave at any time, so he didn't give me prisoner vibes. But who knows? Like Ruka said, there might be a duplicitous sort of undercurrent going through the whole show. And if that is the case, maybe Odokawa is the bad guy, and really and truly, we're seeing him as the good guy, but later on the twist is the bad guy. I don't know, I'm speculating. But because of all of this stuff, I'm sort of like leaning towards how well the character development has gone here. I've already formed an opinion on almost every character, except for the person we can't see. Who knows, maybe it's that girl that we're looking for and she's there and they're just dropping evidence in the water in the beginning. Who knows, but I kind of really want to find out, and they've done the characterization, I think, really well in places. There's other places they could do better, but really well in places. Oh, and a side note, the monkey character, the one who asked the barmaid to marry him, I can't remember his name.
Kakihana.
That's it. First of all, his name is sick. Kakihana is a beautiful name, and I don't think it belongs on a guy, just saying. But other than that as well, the fact that he is a primate in the janitor's role wasn't lost on me. I thought that was brilliant juxtaposition about how lots of people feel in their everyday life, that they're too intelligent to do the job that they're doing. And I thought it was a brilliant piece of, I guess, world building, but you know, that characterization there was quite great.
World building. So you really said it in the end. The characterization has done so much that it actually is also the world building.
Yeah.
It is creating this world and the ideas that we're following throughout this anime. You know, you've got this whole distrust of taxi drivers going throughout it, and I think that we can relate in the real world. We have had so many articles about Uber drivers the world over. The last 5 years, we've heard all these different things about taxi drivers and how you should be kind of worried about jumping into taxis and things like that. So it is just the easy scapegoat again. You can just blame the taxi driver. Also, I think that his job is why he can't sleep, because as a taxi driver you are doing random hours day to day. I don't actually know if it's the same in Japan, but I do know in most other countries you're self-employed, employed by your company, and you're working whenever. And then we've got the corruption. I feel like we've actually really said everything in terms of the world building a lot in the character development already, so I don't have much to say here, but that's not saying that the world building isn't good.
I like the fact that they brought the actual city life into the story with that montage to show that it is actually a vibrant city. There's a lot going on here. It gave me London vibes. As a Londoner, I know, like, you know, there's certain places in London where it looks like that 24/7. Obviously not with K-pop dogs dancing on the screen, but you know what I mean. Like you get that whole razzle dazzle sort of vibe going on, especially with the hustle and bustle of things happening. People going to work, people having to do things, people just going about their lives, school kids, adults, old people, everyone, just a mesh pot of different cultures and whatever. And I really like the way that they did the whole big to small thing that lots of writers do, where you highlight the big world and then pinpoint to the little bunch of characters that you want to talk about. And that was really great. It's like small world, big planet. If you come outside your world, you realize how big the planet is, but your world is actually quite small. And Odokawa's world is quite small, but very interesting and quite intricate into the actual life of the city. I really like the way that they did this here. It was really good in showing us how big the world can be and highlighting a small portion of it for our story to move forward.
Execution. A lot of the times when we do our hot or nots, there's not much to say about the plot because you just can't tell from the first episode. But with this one, you can tell straight away exactly what's going on. They don't waste any time in telling us that someone has gone missing. They're looking for this person, but we've got people in the police force seemingly working against the investigation and tampering with evidence and giving evidence to suspects. We've got people trying to pin things on other people. We've got the person that we're following. We don't even know if anyone here is good, because the way that it's framed is almost as if everyone could be a terrible person. Maybe there is no good guy, because in life sometimes there isn't. The plot is really trying its best to be as relatable to real life as possible, where there isn't necessarily a good guy and a bad guy and the good person wins. But at the same time, there's so much mystery in life as well. You never really know what's going on behind closed doors or beneath the surface, and I feel like that in this there's a lot of that going on, and it's a very relatable world.
So for me, in terms of plot execution, they crammed a lot in 23 minutes. They did a good job in terms of actually building the world, making sure that the plot moved forward and giving you the different aspects of what was going on in the story. It did feel a little bit long to me. They could have pasted it up a bit, but it did detract away from the story, so I thought, okay, I'll give it that. You can't have everything. There's no ultimate anime, do you get what I mean? Except for Naruto. But in saying that, look, don't give me that look now. In saying that, in terms of the plots given, yes, we've got the whole who stole the 6,000 pills. We've got the whole where is the missing girl. We've got the whole where is Dobu. We've got the whole what is wrong with Odokawa. Now, Odokawa is the type of person in society that most people will pin lots of stuff on. So I won't be surprised if they try to pin the 6,000 pills on him. I think she deliberately showed a connection there in front of Dr. Goriki in order to show that, okay, them two had something, and he probably took it the wrong way, and then now she's in the taxi, and then the pills are there, and then it was all him because he forced her to do it. Something similar to that.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that I can speculate that is good testament to good story writing, because obviously, as a high functioning anime critique that we are, you know, when we watch stuff, we try to look forward, and I'm guessing every one of you guys as our listeners do the same thing. And then when we get to the conclusion, we make our judgments. And in saying that, giving us so much material to work with, so many side stories can come off this one episode alone. Remember, this is episode 1, and they've given us so much story, and I'm actually quite glad that they did it. They should have paced it better.
To the verdict! Creativity, hot or not?
So for me, in terms of creativity, it's a not. And it's not a not because I don't believe it's creative. It's a not because we've seen murder mysteries before, and they didn't bring nothing new to that genre in this episode.
I have to agree with you. It is also a not for me. It's not very creative. Entertainment, hot or not?
Now, in terms of entertainment, do I want to watch the next episode? Yes. Why? The story. Story alone. I don't care much for the graphics. I don't care much for the animation. I don't care much for the pacing. But the story, I feel, has legs, and I definitely want to see where it goes. So it's a hot for me.
It's a hot for me. I really did enjoy watching this episode. I actually liked the silences and the way that they flashed from this really quiet, mundane life next to social media, things going viral, the girl pop bands, the city life as a whole. Then you go down to this empty bar. I just thought it was so well done. I was entertained. I laughed a little bit. I mean, you're not gonna laugh your ass off, but there is a little bit of humour there as well. Character development.
Now for me, I've already highlighted why character development was good, but one added note: the guy in the back of the taxi, his first passenger that we're introduced to. Now, how do you write a character that is so poignantly meta is ridiculous? That alone for me makes it hot, I'm just saying.
It's a hot. The character development was really, really good. I actually don't know how they managed to do it in such a short period of time, introducing the amount of characters that they did and making sure that we knew a lot about each of them. No matter how small their screen time was, the dialogue is excellent as well. Like, it's a really, really good job.
Good writers, definitely good writers.
Yeah. World building, hot or not?
I have nothing further to say. The world was built excellently. That's it. It's the strongest point in my opinion.
The world building was really good. It's a hot as well. I do think that this anime is for more mature audiences, so I don't really think that, 13-year-olds are going to enjoy this one. Plot execution.
They executed the plot well. They had some bad points. I think the lack of music actually detracted away from the plot, but I did like the smooth jazz and the K-pop and the twisting and turning in terms of what music we were given were very deliberate. So I'm in an RN, but really and truly, who am I kidding? It's a hot.
The plot execution is definitely a hot. There is no mistake about it. There's so much mystery. I'm not sure which way they're going to take it because they created so many little subplots as well, and I don't know if they're going to go the obvious route, or it feels like they're keeping us in the state of flux where we just don't know where it's going to go, and I think it's great. So I think that we can both say that this is a hot because Big Boy Sama has gone with hot for 4 out of 5 categories, and I have also done the same with 4 out of 5 categories, and I do expect the creativity to also meet the rest of it. So let us know what you think in the comments.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Peace.